Hi, I'm Dan Kubisky, co-chair of the International Community for the Society of Professional Journalists. The Society of Professional Journalists does a lot of different things, and recently, through the SPJ Foundation, they've set up a fund to help journalists in Ukraine. With us today, fortunately, is Hagit Limor, who is the president of the SPJ Foundation and a past president of the SPJ itself. Hagit, thank you very much for being here. And
It's my
please
pleasure.
just tell us about this fund that was started just a month ago to help Ukrainian journalists.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, Dan. It's great to see you. And thank you for the opportunity to let other people know about this. The war in Ukraine has been ongoing. And I know with other news, oftentimes it's easy to put this in the back of our minds, but there are people over there, journalists over there, who live this day to day. And since Russia's invasion, 233 media outlets in Ukraine have shuttered. They're no longer there. They have no way to broadcast with the internet being disrupted, or they can't print. They now have to print out of the country. And additionally, 10 journalists have been killed. There are 14 who are missing and 22 that we know of that have been kidnapped. So there's really been an attack on journalists in Ukraine. And we've been working with a group called the National Union of Journalists, which is like the equivalent of SPJ there. And he says that Russian drones have targeted convoys that clearly have press written on them. So what we decided is that we would try to offer support on an individual basis. And I'm hoping the people who listen to this, each, if you could donate just $25 each, $50 each, it all adds up. And it's amazing how far it goes over there. A mere like $500 can reestablish an existing newspaper, can reestablish a whole newspaper, because they don't need a whole lot of equipment to make it work. And that is the other thing that has really emerged, is that it's got to be print, because the broadcast signals, as you can imagine, are non-existent in many areas. The infrastructure has been destroyed. So a piece of paper, we're back to where that is the best way to disseminate information. And $500 can literally buy enough equipment, laptop, etc., for a local journalist to be able to do even just a few pages of local news that is not propaganda news, because some of the old newspapers there have been taken over by the Russians who have invaded. They've taken their names, their mastheads, and recreated them. This will allow a local journalist to literally print something and to pay for it to be printed out of the country and then brought back in to Ukraine, because obviously there are no presses there. So it really is amazing how far just a little bit of money can go.
Okay, and I know people can access some of the basic information and the
Mhm.
donation page by just going to spj.org, and right there, as the lead story is this. Um, how successful have you been so far? You've been doing this for about a month now, ever since the SPJ National Convention. Um, what have you seen any results? Has anything have you gotten comments back?
We've raised about $2,000, which is okay, but I would certainly wish for more. In full disclosure, I wish that we could do more. I think that for a lot of people, it just seems overwhelming because it's such a big problem. Ukraine, who's going to be able to solve the issue of the war there? Nobody. But you can make an impact, a little impact, which adds up. So if people feel like they want to in any way, first of all, support journalism, and obviously we believe in a free press around the world. We believe journalists should be able to inform their local communities of what is going on. We believe that here in the United States, and we believe that around the world. And that's why we support the Ukrainian journalists. So here's an opportunity for anyone who feels helpless to do something about a problem in the world to actually make a difference. Actually do something with just a really relatively little amount of money, which would add up.
Yeah, you touched on a small thing that comes up quite often. Why should I, as a reporter or a journalist covering a local beat, care about what's going on in Ukraine? Could you just talk about that a bit, about that issue?
Absolutely. Yes, because we really believe that what is happening in Ukraine will be modeled elsewhere if it succeeds. Already you have seen, and we're just going to talk about Russia, but it's not just Russia. It's other governments have done this as well, to have come into places and taken control of the established media and snuff out independent local journalists. So as Russia did this, in the past in other areas that they conquered, and that the world did not really step up and say, oh, wait, this might not be the right thing. The world has basically stepped up. Many in the world have stepped up and said, this is not right, what's happening in Ukraine. And the only way for the people there to be able to know what is happening is to get independent journalism. The reason we should care here is because what is happening there is a model. And I am certain that Russia is looking to see how well it works, because then they can spread it. And then it's not just Russia, it's other nations that also have interests in other parts of the world who can take the same model. I support free journalism everywhere. And trust me, there are things happening in the United States, and we're fighting for those as well. We believe, that there are some places right here that you've seen some court cases lately of sheriffs coming in, et cetera, at a couple of different newspapers and arresting people. We obviously are going to always fight for that. Those are large legal battles, sometimes taking a lot of money. Here's a case where a little bit of money on people's part can make a big difference. How often do you get a chance to say, oh, just my mere 25, $50 really made a difference? But it does. I've gotten some numbers, and I'm trying to see if I can find them, of how little it took to just, I think they can get laptops there, because I think they're refurbished for like $200. And a laptop for a journalist whose laptop was destroyed for some reason is huge. So I guess that's why I'm saying, in this world where we feel so powerless, here's an opportunity to really make a difference with a little bit.
Okay, all right. Again, the place to go to contribute is at spj.org. And I did notice it is tax deductible. So
Yes.
for those of us who have been a little more successful than others, a little tax break always goes, always helps.
And the holidays are coming up, so this is the time when you're probably being asked by a lot of groups. So we really appreciate your consideration of this mission.
Okay, do you have any last word or last comment as we wrap this up?
I just really appreciate the opportunity to talk about it, and the work that you're doing as well. The international community of SPJ is very important, and I think of growing importance, because press freedom around the world is something that the United States Society of Professional Journalism always wishes to support.
We're blushing. Thank you very much for taking time from your busy schedule to tell us about this new program that the SPJ Foundation has running.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a great day.